We're live.
Hello, everyone, and we're back to our normal day of the week, which is a Wednesday. And welcome to Violent Wrestling Podcast. As always, it's my cohort in crime, the founder, the originator, the owner, the Miss Princess of Violence herself, Ambrose Alley,
Hey,
and
everyone.
my other co-host. Oh, sorry, my other co-host, as always, Metal. There is none better, Matthew.
Hello, everyone.
And to complete the quad, we're getting like past guest status into maybe new edition. We need to work out the pay and stuff before it becomes official. The one, the only Mr. Cleveland himself, Adam Rice.
Good evening, and just to let everyone know, I work to scale.
Oh, we're leading with that, huh?
Might as well, right?
So, how's everybody's week?
Cold.
Pretty good.
Cold.
Yeah, it's
Hey,
cold
what's it
as
been
well.
like in Wyoming?
It's been windy but nice.
That's a change.
It got to negative 25 today in central Ohio.
Short there.
Yeah, shorts weather. If you're a penguin,
Sir, they wear tuxedos.
I'm sorry. It actually, and I saw this online, and it wasn't Ohio, but I believe Milwaukee got colder than Antarctica today. That's how
Holy
cold
crap.
it is. That's how cold it is in the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes. It is freezing. You can't walk outside without the wind absolutely stealing the air out of your chest every time.
I know our good buddy Greg Five from for Development was walking. He's in Saskatchewan, Connecticut, Canada.
Connecticut,
Gosh, and was walking his dog yesterday, and his eyelids froze together, just blinking. Like that's when you, dude. Out, nope. That's when you know, like, get the fuck out of wherever you're living if your eyelids are freezing together and you can't open your eye. Nope.
they were showing the temperatures on the news just a little bit ago. And in a town just south of here, it is warmer than where it is in Columbus, and but it is still -8.
Damn.
That's that's warm. Right
Uh,
now. Kill me, please.
You'll
Uh,
survive.
but for
You'll
those,
um,
survive.
we'll
yeah, I
see.
was gonna say for those guys, for the people that traveling back and forth to work or taking kids to school or whatever, bus drivers and stuff. Um, for like cold's one thing. There's a lot of winter like precipitation too, snow and blizzards. Be safe out there. Take your time. That kind of stuff. Just be safe. Be safe. Stay warm. And
Well,
while
it's
you're
gotten so cold that they've closed a lot of the schools have been closed because it's just too cold for the kids to go outside.
Yeah, they
uh,
they they closed Ohio State.
damn,
They closed Ohio State.
the
They don't.
NCAA should have done that a long time ago, but that's a whole different subject.
I could say the same thing about the University of Texas.
Sir, no, sir.
Probably should have got that SMU treatment a little while ago.
Sir, you're talking about OSU again. You're talking about Ohio State, not Texas.
Okay, fine.
But anyway, besides the weather and Ohio sports teams sucking, we're gonna talk about. Obviously, there's been a lot of breaking news happening in the wrestling world. Rumble review, MLW, Rocky Mountain Pro, the normal stuff. But first and foremost, big shout out to a very close friend of VWP. He's actually been a guest a few times here. He's a loyal listener. One Winged Angel, one of my besties. Happy birthday, belated birthday. It was Sunday. Royal Rumble Day of all days. What a birthday that should have been. But happy birthday, man. Hope you had a great one.
Yep, happy birthday.
birthday, Angel.
Happy belated birthday.
And happy current birthday to Becky Lynch.
To the man.
All right. Matt, that's your cue.
Yep, happy birthday to the man, Becky Lynch, the future Raw Women's Champion.
And somebody else had a birthday 4 days ago.
Yeah, didn't
Nobody knows that off the top of their head.
wasn't it Sasha?
Sasha Banks. So
And
big
Matt
birthday
Madison
week.
goes wild.
Yeah.
And Matt said what?
You said a DSM goes wild.
Oh, you guys should have heard before we went live and how wild Matt was going. Wing just sent
How I
a
was.
tweet where Wing's listening, or a text, and said, "Oh, thank you guys, love you all." So, happy birthday!
Now that all the fun stuff is out of the way, shall we get to the breaking news
Yeah.
of the week?
AA. I mean, literally, it's in your name, Ambrose Alley. It's actually in my name too. It is my name, but we'll take the lead on this one in the news.
Yeah, it's sad to say, but I'm sure he has his reasons why Dean Ambrose is not going to renew his contract when it comes up in April.
The way that the story is coming out is that there have been a contract negotiations. Dean Ambrose, better known to some as John Moxley, real name Jonathan Good, was offered a raise. There is some rumors out there that he was also offered, or will be offered, some more creative control in a potential deal. But the word is Dean Ambrose has told Vince McMahon to no longer, there will be no more negotiations, in that the day of WrestleMania will be his last day with the company. He is walking away from the contract negotiations.
And if anybody's ever wondered or missed an episode here or there, Mox, my name comes from John Moxley. And it just got shortened to, everybody just started calling me the nickname Mox, and it stuck, and now I just go by Mox. Yeah, this is before we delve into some other reports that are coming out about the Dean Ambrose thing. Dude, when I awoke and saw the news, that's I know a lot of people are saying, it's not that big of a deal. It's Dean Ambrose. It's just Dean. It's just Dean Ambrose has been the workhorse for WWE for 5 years, since 2014, even longer than that, but since the breakup. And we're talking live, Raw, SmackDown, whichever, and live events. He's that steady hand. He's that name. Not that others haven't, but that's That's a big blow. I don't see a lot of people buying tickets to go see Dolph Ziggler.
No.
I see people buying tickets, they want to see Dean. Not just Dean, but he makes it, Dean's on the card.
The thing about this, and you talk about those people saying it's just Dean Ambrose, and that's largely because the way they have handled his booking, um, they have not given him some of the best stuff to work with. But as you said, this is a
Right.
guy who's been a workhorse. What was his day's work streak? Didn't he have?
I forget.
He had a solid 160, 200 days
Yeah,
straight of working. And in this business, that might as well be Lou Gehrig.
right.
And the other thing I find interesting here was that WWE acknowledged it.
And that's where we were going to delve into after everybody got their initial reactions from the news of Matt, what did you think when you heard the news or read the news?
I was both surprised and not surprised, if that makes any sense. I don't really blame him for leaving. I mean, if you listen to the show for a few months now, personally speaking, I was not a fan of heel Ambrose. It just, I don't know, it just didn't work.
At all.
And you can kind of tell that he wasn't enjoying it. And in retrospect, I do wonder if this was why Ambrose and Rollins at TLC was so phoned in.
I don't know about that because I think they're professional.
And more than those two just being professional, they're for a guy like Dean, who's famously very introverted, phoning in a match with a guy who he calls a brother as a shoot would be out of character for him.
Yeah, and that speaks to the Jonathan Good, not necessarily the Dean Ambrose character. The Jonathan Good's not going to pull that crap. He's not in a match against Seth Rollins. And you can phone in because I think it was, but I don't think it was for personal reasons. I still believe it was for how that formulaic to get a better match later kind of thing, like they always do with WWE. Well, let's don't give it all away here. That, like Matt said, that heel Dean, it was so bad.
Yeah. The Bane meets King Koopa Super Mario movie.
Let me go.
Welcome to your strength, Seth Rollins.
Huh?
This is custom to your strength, Seth Rollins.
Oh god, that was so bad.
Let me do a promo at the doctor's office getting a shot in my ass. So I, vaccinated from the fans. Like that works. Like maybe if you're like a Daniel Bryan at this point, like that might, but it wouldn't because he's anti-vaccination and all that shit. But like it just doesn't. That was just flat out stupid and dumb.
The thing,
and one thing I found interesting. One last thing about this before we move on to somebody else. One thing I did find interesting about this is that pretty much as soon as the news broke, WWE themselves announced it on their website, which I think is pretty rare for them to do in this kind of situation.
It's not.
I don't think they've ever done it.
Right. They don't ever talk about contract negotiations in public.
And that's a perfect segue into some things we're hearing today about some of the creative team and writers and wrestlers backstage not knowing anything about it, and is it a work?
I would that. Two things. One, the thing where I think the train fell off the rails for Dean Ambrose creatively was when they were leading in to the Brock match,
Yeah.
where they did all this stuff with the hardcore legends. They literally had Terry Funk give Dean Ambrose his chainsaw Charlie. They built him up as this, this psychopath. They kind of they built him up like almost they were letting him go in the match. You expected him to revert to the old Jonathan Moxley character. The problem was this: we all knew this was a PG show, and that wasn't going to happen.
So that was going to happen,
right? So they built him up with all these guys from ECW, and of course Terry Funk, and the legend that he is, and then they do a bait and switch, and we got nothing from it. And then now we're into this situation where people are asking if this whole thing's a work, and I know everything in wrestling could be a work, so I don't want to discount it. But for WWE to go to the unprecedented step of announcing it, shoot name and all, and B, run the angle they ran on Raw, which to me, that feels like an old school, you're getting run out of the territory.
Yeah.
You gave your notice, and you were expected the next 2 to 3 weeks to lose on your way out the door. The problem is, this isn't 2 to 3 weeks. We know when the drop dead date is, and it's WrestleMania.
Right. AA, and I know you didn't watch Raw, and I'm not sure if you read any of the recaps, but Nia basically beats up Dean Ambrose while Dean Ambrose is, after he loses a match, sitting in a chair, says he has something important to say, and here comes Nia Jax, and just leaves Dean. With a very poor description that I just gave.
Doesn't Nia shove Dean out of the ring?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
As if Dean Ambrose's booking couldn't have gotten any worse.
I was getting to say something. This has nothing to do with the topic of intergender wrestling, which we probably will get into due to the events of this week surrounding Nia Jax. But if Dean Ambrose's final feud in the WWE is going to be Nia Jax on the way out the door, he should have no second thoughts about leaving.
No. But AA, with knowing what happened on Raw, knowing the news, the reported news, and then WWE confirming, and then what happened on Monday before the news actually broke. Where are you on the it's a work, it's shoot kind of fence?
I honestly think he's leaving.
Yeah. Do you think this is just I know we're good. Like it's he's leaving, and this is just like Adam said, like the way it used to happen, like back, old school. If you put in your notice, and you're gonna get clowned until you actually leave.
Let's ask it like this. Allie, do you think this is Ambrose stepping away for a little bit and potentially coming back? Or do you think this is going to be a permanent exit from WWE?
I think this might be a permanent exit. He might go to a smaller promotion.
RMP, RMP, RMP.
Yeah, I don't think RMP could afford him.
That's what I
Well,
was
honestly, like, here's my thing. I don't think Ambrose is going to go to AEW.
No.
I don't think he's going to go to New Japan. I don't think he's going to go to Ring of Honor.
Well,
I
ML Dub,
think
ML Dub, ML Dub.
it'd be cool to see him there. I don't think he's going there. Knowing Ambrose, I feel like maybe he'll do a couple of stints in maybe ZZW or some kind of local indie, like a couple of hardcore matches. Then he's going to kind of go off the grid for a while.
yeah.
That just seems like the kind of guy he is.
Dean Ambrose has always been asked, has always said, when he's done with wrestling, he's gone. He's disappearing.
Yeah.
He's not going to do the conventions. He's not going to do the indie circuit. He's not going to go somewhere else. He's gone.
But see, and that's where so many questions coming in play. Is he done with wrestling, or is he just done with WWE? And
Honestly, I think he's done with wrestling. I really do. Like I said, I think there's a possibility that he could do a couple more hardcore matches. And honestly, I wouldn't even say he's done with WWE permanently. I could always see him coming back maybe one time. But I think he might be done with wrestling after this. I don't know. Like, I can't really see him doing a longer stint in wrestling for any other promotion or company.
Our friend Crazy Chris, who over at Two Guys One Sport, said he'd love to see him maybe do something with the G1 in America series before actually entering the G1. The G1 isn't something I would believe would be up his alley.
Up his Ambrose alley?
is Chris in the chat, or was that a tweet?
I saw that on Twitter from Chris that he'd like to see Ambrose enter the G1.
That'd be cool.
That'd be cool, but I don't think that's his style. I don't see him going to Japan. And like Matt said, I don't see him going to AEW. I could see it maybe something like a Ring of Honor. If they're out here throwing out money for Roosh and stuff, they could probably throw money at John Moxley.
Which I'm still bitter about. But that's another story.
And for any other smaller promotions, how you couldn't make that financially feasible. Because Dean Ambrose, the man's a Grand Slam champion.
Well, and
he's like a big name.
Well, right, but you have to. That's where again. What is Jonathan Good? What is he wanting? He's made the money. He's made the name. Is he willing to, for lack of a better term, work for peanuts versus what he was making, just to have a more freedom stuff, things he wants to do? Would he be willing to do that kind of stuff? And I know when I said RMP and AA said, that I don't think they could afford them. Well, that's.
I mean, if he's turning down a big money contract from WWE, I don't think it's about money.
I would agree with you. I think this is becoming a peace of mind move for Dean. Whether he wrestles again or not, this is about him getting away from that lifestyle for at least for a little bit. Because his creative's been bad. Let's not forget the look on his face after the Roman announcement. That
And
that
also, oh, go on.
that hurt him.
Yeah. Dean is. Well, let's. Jonathan
Well,
Good. Let's use shoot name.
one
He
more thing.
has. Go ahead.
Well, one more thing I wanted to add, and I think Zebra and Tux in the Daily on KSL Seats, I think, said this. Remember, during his injury, he almost died,
Yep.
Yes.
and that maybe put things in perspective for him at that time.
You're the workhorse. You're the go-to guy. Your booking might not be the best, but it was pretty solid. You get injured. You almost die. You come back. You're booked like shit. And let's be honest, booked like shit. I don't care. IC title, woohoo. You're still booked like shit.
Yep.
You're one of your closest friends in the business announces, leukemia and has to walk away. That you can't separate Dean Ambrose from Jonathan Good at that point, where they are emotionally with what they're dealing with and feeling.
Right.
That's just impossible.
He's very introverted in real life. His relationship with Renee is very close. He doesn't talk about it. Yeah, they're married, and everyone knows they're married, but he doesn't talk about it. He doesn't talk about that. He doesn't talk about his. Do you guys remember that Austin podcast?
Yeah.
Where Austin tried to, like an interviewer should, tried to ask him about his growing up in Cincinnati, and Dean would no sell it, anything.
Yeah.
So now he's dealing with almost dying due to I believe, was it MRSA or a staph infection?
MRSA.
And then his friend and road buddy, the guy who he became a star with, announces he has leukemia for the second time and has to leave. His buddy's not on the road anymore.
Right.
And then on top of that, he may not be feeling creatively as fulfilled because he's doing this stuff with Seth, and it went nowhere.
Yeah, and see that should have been like so again, no word good, blah blah blah. Like it should have been a kind of release thing when he was performing, especially on Raw, and like, okay, all this shit is going wrong in my personal life, but I can see these people, because wrestlers have talked about how that's helped them through personal things, and to not even get that because they're creatively
Bankrupt.
neutering. Yeah, they're just you don't even get that release because it's just compounding everything's pretty much already fucked up, and you don't even get that. Hey, but for this 15 minutes I can go out and enthuse a crowd and get cheers, and for 15 minutes things are okay in in the world or whatever. You don't even get that. It just compounds. Like, no, things are just fucked up.
We could move on to the other story from this week, but I will say that I wish
one that's definitely. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say I wish him all the best.
Yes.
Dude deserves a break.
Yeah.
Go,
Whether
go
it's
get your
work,
mind clear.
um, we'll find out eventually. But just best of luck. Um,
Yeah, go get your mind clear, and if we see you again, we see you again.
AA, any final thoughts on Dean?
Just that I wish him the best for him and Renee.
Yeah, so we barely touched on the topic of Renee still working there and stuff. But
I think she will.
I think, if anything, Dean's going to make this as painless as possible, because Renee's in a pretty good spot right now.
I didn't. Well, if I worded that wrong, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I
I meant
know.
like if he leaves, Renee's still going to be there, and you never know like how people
React.
But one thing that isn't a work and is straight shoot is a Hideo Atomic, formerly known as Kenta from Noah, has asked and been granted his release from WWE. And man, that would have been big news it's big news now, but it would have been bigger news any other week if it didn't come the day after Dean.
Yeah. And with Kenta, the story with Kenta Hideo Tommy is injuries.
Yeah.
They couldn't get out of his way. He couldn't get out of his health could not get out of his way. And for as good as he is, I think the injuries, he did lose a step, in my opinion. And
Well, he basically lost an arm.
yeah,
He lost an arm. The step's still there, but that shoulder is pretty much still good. Don't get me wrong, but
I think he from everyone online, you can tell he made a great impression on the locker room.
yeah, and it's so cool to see.
I think he goes back to Noah unless New Japan throws a big money contract at him.
And this is definitely like I'm not done with wrestling. I just don't want to be here anymore.
I like how they set him. They basically set him out the right way, depending on when he asked for his release. He got a match at a Big Four pay-per-view, even if it was on the pre-show. He got to perform at the Royal Rumble in front of 50,000 fans, probably the biggest crowd he's ever performed in front of. And he got to have that experience on the way out the door. So I think they did right there. But like I said, injuries were the name of the game here. And I know it's not fair, but that's the name of the game in WWE, availability. And if you get hurt as they try to push you, they may forgive it once, but they won't forgive it twice. There is no three strikes. You need to be healthy. And I know that's out of people's control, but you need to be healthy when they're trying to give you something. We saw it happen to the Revival. The Revival were getting pushed. One of them got hurt. It stopped. They came back. They started to push them again, but then they got hurt again. Same thing happened with Hideo.
Well, Hideo did in NXT. He did end up coming back and challenging Rude for the NXT Championship.
Honestly, I think that is what killed him. The injuries played a part, certainly, but I think having him come back from 2 injuries, have him challenge for the title, lose, then turn heel for no reason at all, and finally put him in the cruiserweight division, I think that's what killed them. It would be like if, I don't know, if Triple H came back in 2002, big quad injury, wins the Royal Rumble, goes on to WrestleMania, loses to Chris Jericho, and turns heel right afterwards. Makes no sense. It's too depressing.
Yeah.
Oh, because we never. For those that don't know, and I'm not sure who all watched NXT back then, before it was like on the network and stuff. When we got my first name, Prince Devitt, under the WWE umbrella, guess how he debuted? As Hideo Itami's, formerly known as Kenta, tag team partner. And it went from that to, what was that, 2013? 14?
Yeah.
It was 14.
14?
14 feels right.
Holy shit, what a moment. And just all the hype. Like, Hideo had it, and it translated into Devitt coming over and becoming Finn, and all anybody wanted to see, because this was post CM Punk leaving, all anybody wanted to see was Hideo Itami use the go to sleep. That's all anybody wanted to see. Like, everybody's just waiting for it every time Hideo had a match. Like, go to sleep, go to sleep. And sadly, due to injuries and stuff, we only got to see it a few times.
Yeah. And this isn't just some guy. And let's also, for those who don't know of Kenta, this isn't just some big star they signed from Japan. There was
No.
a time when Kenta was considered
One of the
easily
best world.
best in the world.
Kenta, and for those that aren't factually known, Kenta was using the go to sleep before CM Punk was using the go to sleep.
Yep.
So, because you see a lot of people thinking that Hideo or Kenta stole it from Punk. No, it's vice versa. Kenta was using that move long before CM Punk started using it.
Mm-hmm. The dude was a megastar.
Yes, huge. And deservedly so. Dude was really, really good. And then there's really only one word: injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Injuries.
And bad booking.
A little bad booking, but it really, to me, he never got out of the starting gate.
Yeah. Because once he got to the starting gate, injury. Because there was supposed to be a May 20th, 2014 or 15? 15. There was supposed to be a triple threat: Finn Balor, Tyler Breeze, and Hideo Itami. And that's when the shoulder injury happened, and we got the parking lot whodunit storyline.
Yep.
And he had, hurt his shoulder previously in a taping, and it was never the same. But May 20th. The same night that Kevin Owens shit.
Sami Zayn fought and Samoa Joe came and debuted.
Same, where
And it was
Sami
also the
Zayn,
night that Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship. Just saying.
Not like you didn't have that committed to memory at all. Well, speaking of Becky, do you guys want to get to the Rumble?
Yeah, I suppose we can. The Royal Rumble, or as I like to call it, let's get ready to fumble, aka the Brown slogan.
I told you, Rice. I told you.
I know I just got here, but you're fired.
2 hours before we went live in headquarters, Rice, you're already getting shit on. It's like, wow, what'd I do? Well, Matt wants to name the episode "Let's Get Ready to Fumble," aka the Brown slogan.
So the night started with the pre-show, where it emanated from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, 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 Phoenix.
I will say this. The stage setup, I love the stage setup. I thought that was really cool.
Them coming up out of the dugout with the horizontal video board, the curved aisle. It felt like its own show. It didn't feel like
It reminded me of WrestleMania 19 a little bit.
it reminded, yeah. Not that they're the same, but it reminded me of those garden shows.
Yeah.
With just the short entrance, the fans kind of all being around that area, having to walk through the crowd kind of to get to the ring.
That was the perfect way to do a baseball stadium with where they're coming out from to where the ring was without like having to use golf carts and shit to get to the ring.
Oh, that was fun.
That was there was some friendly bets going, like, because it was reported a while back like they were going to be coming out of the dugouts, but where were they going to put the ring? Like, well, if they put it like towards the outfield, Kurt Angle is going to be gassed before he even gets to the ring. Was that me and you talking about that?
Yeah, it might have been.
Well, he's going to, well, what if they put him on a golf cart? Well, he'll just be gassed getting on and off the golf cart.
Right. It felt different in that it didn't feel homogenized. Just based on the setup alone, you will forever know from this date forward that this Royal Rumble took place at Chase Field because of how they set that stadium up. And we started the show with the United States Championship match between Rusev challenging, Shinsuke Nakamura challenging Rusev for the United States Championship. So this is a match that happened. And Shinsuke won. The most important part of the match wasn't even in the ring.
Kinda.
Well,
if you include the apron as part of the ring.
True.
It was Lana taking a bump off the ring and hurting her ankle.
So, and that kind of caused its way into the finish, where Shinsuke was your new Message champion. Boy, that was long lasting. Fine match. The bump was the most important part. They got the bump over. Shinsuke wins, and they rolled into the cruiserweight match, where Hideo Itami Akira Tozawa. Was it Cedric?
Buddy Murphy
Buddy Murphy.
and Hideo Tommy.
Who was the fourth?
Hideo Tommy.
I said Hideo.
Oh. Cedric?
Was it Cedric? I was confused. Matt, who are the four?
Matt and I don't watch pre-show.
Yeah, I didn't watch the pre-show, but I'm pretty sure Tommy was one of them.
It was somebody 205 pounds or fewer.
Oh, we are just the worst.
Oh, crap. I need to open an nightly.
It was Akira, Tommy, and Kalisto.
I was gonna say, wasn't it? I didn't want to, but one of the match wrestlers, it was Kalisto. Wasn't sure if it was Kalisto or Grand Metalik or Grand Metalik or.
That crowd was dead for that match, but they managed to pop the crowd a few times. But I'm surprised none of them are dead, actually. Because some of the bumps in that match, they were doing too many head bumps. And I'm like, you guys don't need to be trying to die. Please stop. And then we also got Buddy Murphy retained. And this was Tommy's last match in the WWE, probably. And we also got a tag team match.
Before we get to this random freaking what the fuck tag match, can we everybody just take a second and acknowledge how freaking great Buddy Murphy is?
Yes.
Holy crap.
Buddy Murphy's Buddy Murphy was my breakout wrestler of the year for 2018.
Oh, without a doubt. And I appreciate them moving Ali up to SmackDown. Like, thumbs up all the way. If you want to keep continuing that trend, Buddy Murphy needs to be your next.
Either Murphy or Alexander. Because they both could do it.
Oh, they both could. But, yeah. But I wanted Alexander to be main roster, like main roster a while ago.
Me too.
But if you don't, like, if you put, like, we don't have anything else to do with them, we fired, Wesley Blake. And if he hasn't proven to you that he can deliver and be safe and whatnot, the next person up, in my opinion, if it wasn't already Cedric, which it should have been, Buddy Murphy needs to be main roster Raw or SmackDown. Like, should have been this week. Should have been 2 weeks ago. Should have been a month ago.
But basically now.
Yeah.
Put him, if you are still worried even about Alexa's health, put him with Alexa.
Well, too close to home, sir. Too close to home.
Sorry, Max. Have her manage him for a little bit, just to be on the safe side, if that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
But Buddy Murphy walked into 205 Live and instantaneously just started having matches you couldn't believe.
Yeah, and it just, like, he was good with Badass Motherfucker, BMAF.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he was a lot better than Blake ever was. Like, he was always the better of the two. But holy shit, once he went to 205 Live, like, and you saw it because he did a few singles in NXT. Like, you saw some of it in NXT. They called him up to 205 Live, and he just went balls out. Like, holy shit, dude is legit. Did not mean to rhyme there, but I'll take it.
Dude is good. Dude is
Yeah.
just good. And I don't know
Dude,
what they do with the Cruiserweight Championship post Buddy, because he will be dropping that title probably Mania weekend. But they need to, Raw or SmackDown, I don't care. That guy could make money for you.
yes.
You want to make the Intercontinental Championship mean something again?
Well,
Better
Adam,
Murphy.
are you not telling me that you don't like Bobby Ashley as champion?
Mox,
Matt cussed again. 2 weeks in a row. Matt cussed on a podcast.
Matt, I will punch you.
Imagine just even if it doesn't have to be a main event of a pay-per-view. Doesn't have to be Bill. Just imagine this scenario. Brock Lesnar, spoiler alert for later in Rumble, blah blah blah. Seth Rollins, Universal Champion, doing an open challenge, and mother-loving Buddy Murphy enters it. Are you kidding me? I need that right now.
I mean, just imagine some of the stuff. Put Rollins aside. Murphy versus Balor.
Well, true, but that's not where they're going with the current story. But yes, give me that. Give me that. You want to raise the prices of the network? You start giving me that shit. Yeah, I will happily. Now, in 3 weeks, if you take the fucking title off of Tony Storm, I'm canceling my subscription. But that's a whole different story.
Fuck you are.
So, Mox, are you going to raise up a storm?
Yes, I will type in all caps angrily, sir.
Go to your room, Matt. Go to your room.
I am in my room. I'm playing Super.
Go outside. That pun was. Oh God. But yeah, this tag match. Why?
What the? Well, go ahead and say who the participants, because I can't with a straight face what the fuck this was about.
Bobby Roode and Chad Gable defended their championship against Scott Dawson of the Revival and Razor of the Authors of Pain. And if they had won, the Revival and AOP would have received a Raw Tag Team Championship match.
Time out real quick. Matt, are you playing PlayStation while you're podcasting?
PlayStation 2, but yeah.
Well, same difference. Okay, just wondering what all that's happened was about. Like, do your thing, but I started to ask earlier. Okay, anyway. Yeah, why are they randomly putting Dawson with Authors of Pain? Like, what?
I heard that Akam or Razor was injured.
I've heard that too. Even still, this made no damn sense.
None.
I don't understand what they were going for, because the second they announced that, you knew who was winning. So I don't get it. Like I said, Roode and Gable won, and that's all you need to know. Because this just made no damn sense to anybody.
Yeah. Like.
So we come to the main card. In leading off the main card of the Royal Rumble was the SmackDown Women's Championship match between Becky Lynch challenging Asuka, and they had a fire match.
I thought this was a really good match. I really did. Like, I know that a lot of people were kind of down on it, but I really enjoyed this match. I thought this was a good match, with the exception.
I was about to say, man, you were texting me the whole time cussing. and he was actually using like cuss words, shit, and not just dams and stuff. He was throwing the big boys out. AA saw it. AA can testify, wasn't
That's
he?
right.
Yep, he was not a happy camper. That's why I just left him alone until to the women's rumble later. But that's a whole different. But I saw it. I just left it alone because Matt was pissed.
I was so angry. I really was. I was so angry.
As you know, first of all, I'm happy they let those two women go out there and have a Joshi style match.
Yes.
They beat the piss out of each other. I don't know if Asuka was going for a swinging neck breaker off the apron or what she was trying to do, but I have thought she killed Becky. They beat the piss out of each other. The inverted cattle mutilation was genius. I did. I didn't have a single problem with Becky losing here. I didn't have a problem with Becky tapping here
Oh, see,
because
here's the thing. If you need to have Becky lose in order to win the Royal Rumble, fine, whatever. I mean, you're not exactly making the SmackDown Women's title picture interesting, but whatever. Fine, fair enough. But having Becky Lynch tap out made no sense at all.
It
And
made sense.
that's what I was going to say.
Absolutely perfect sense.
I don't even think it did. I do not think it did because, okay, look.
For what?
At the risk of doing a Stone Cold Becky Lynch comparison.
No. If she passes out right there, she doesn't come back in the Rumble later.
Don't ever count out the man.
Mox is right. If you did the Bret Austin finish, Becky doesn't come back out because there would be, in straight shoot terms, they couldn't let her back in if she lost consciousness. So, just from a pure medical standpoint, you couldn't run that angle. Having Becky tap does two things. A, sets Becky up for the Rumble entrance. And two, it makes Asuka look credible for the first time since she's been called up.
And it wasn't even just like an Asuka lock. This was an inverted, like it was a brutal looking submission hold.
It was a version of the cattle mutilation.
I mean, it was a bridge, like it, and you have to, hindsight being 2020, Becky was smart enough. Okay, she's got me. Let me tap now so I'm able to come back later. Let me go ahead and tap. It's not the worst thing in the world. Like, let me tap now. I'm going to find a way to get in that Rumble later. I'm going to find a way, come hell or high water.
I mean, it didn't destroy her, but it didn't help her either. Like, and here's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people make Stone Cold Becky Lynch comparisons. I'm sure it probably gets old. But think about it. In his prime as a face, at his height as a face, you never would have seen Stone Cold tap out. You never would have seen John Cena tap out. Now, am I saying that Becky Lynch is at that level yet? No, not particularly yet. But she's one of the most over superstars on their roster. You don't have one of your most over superstars tap out.
Rocky did it.
Yep.
Rocky never gave a shit who he lost to.
And even then, I think like The Rock. Honestly, I think The Rock lost clean way too many times. But
I
that's
think
a different story.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong there, but I'm saying Rocky was the number 2 guy in the company when Austin was there, and #1 when he wasn't, and had one of the best drawing years in the history of the company in the year 2000. But Rocky.
There's. Go ahead.
But what I was going to say basically is we see top guys lose all the time. Austin was a rare case where he was, for the most part, protected in every finish. Becky, they had to tell a story here. And the story was Becky was going to enter the Rumble. How do you
People are in the nightly asking for the link so they can listen, and Matt dropped the ball. Anyway. I know. We started talking about Becky, and Matt just gives zero fucks about anything.
And you know me. You know me. When it comes to Becky, I lose my concentration. I get distracted.
But so the story had to be told in a way that made sense.
Just two things real quick. Stone Cold passed out with a crimson mask.
Yes.
And
Austin,
do you want Becky Lynch to be another Stone Cold, or do you want Becky Lynch to be motherfucking Becky Lynch?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the answer to that statement.
I mean, I wanted to be Becky Lynch, but here's the thing. Like, there was a better way to do it, I thought.
And also, let's not forget, if Becky wins that match and becomes the champion again, there's no Rumble. And there's no match with Ronda at Mania.
Can you say undisputed championship?
They're not unifying the titles and they're not unifying the brands.
Matt's gonna work any angle he can to have Becky win the match and the Rumble. Matt's gonna work any scenario he can.
Matt won't be happy until Becky Lynch is sitting in Vince's fucking seat. And the silence means it's true.
and yes, it was a good match. I figured they would open with this match. Watching with my son and my wife, and like they're gonna open with the SmackDown Women's Championship. My question marks were, since it was reported earlier that the men's would go on last, like, where exactly does later the Raw Women's Championship match come, and what does that mean for Sasha? But I figured they would do this exact thing, open with the SmackDown Women's Championship. Asuka goes over, and Becky. Since we already spoiled it, Becky will later enter the Rumble.
Yeah, we know she enters it. We don't need to give away the finish there. But I have to ask real quick. Was it during this match or the Rumble where Morris made his true feelings known?
Sir, we will... we will...
We will get to that?
Yes.
Okay, so Matt... you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, Matt definitely does, because every day I still get a text from Matt. Why, Morris? Why?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
out of the loop on this one.
Yeah, we have... someone has some explaining to do.
We will have that explanation later. It's a good one, Allie. So be on the edge of your seat.
Okay.
After
to put that in a tight little bud real quick. We're gonna have to have Morris on as a guest here in the near future.
Oh, that will be awesome.
Well, we're supposed to do another takeover edition with Five's kids from Grounds for Development here pretty soon, so maybe we'll get it there. But yes, a certain fan of somebody turned Sunday on that person.
It's quite the story.
Yeah.
But,
And shocking.
but after Oscar retained, they moved on to what they're now being called the greatest tag team in the world. The Miz and Shane McMahon challenged the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. In what was, we knew was going to be a bit of a spot fest.
No.
Because
Do spot fest matches? No.
Shane McMahon was his crash test dummy self.
This story
Miz,
was more, you know where they're going with this.
yeah,
This story was more
Miz,
about Mrs. Dad.
we got Miz's dad. We had Miz doing Ricky Morton, and he wasn't bad at it. The babyface in peril, didn't know he had that in him. But at the end of the day, you're brand new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. The Miz and Shane McMahon.
And I
And
just
now we
want
go
to
to-
commend. I just want to commend SmackDown for officially killing the tag team division,
Yeah, I knew something like that was coming.
putting
And
the
I-
titles on the boss's son and channel changer Miz.
Hey, sir. Shane runs SmackDown. He's not the son of the boss. He is the boss of SmackDown.
And Matt
Sir.
just threw up in his mouth.
I mean,
This,
poor Sanity.
I
Poor
called it,
Poor
but
Usos,
damn
poor
was
New Day.
this.
Who else is on SmackDown?
No one does
In
that.
defense,
Poor Sandy,
defense.
poor Gallows and Harrison, poor Usos, poor New Day. Hell, poor Colons. I feel bad for the Colons. I don't even got the Colons.
You done? Mox, could you please continue?
At least until you get to SmackDown, at least it was something different, I guess. Like, if you guys can't tell from the last couple of weeks, like, at least for a few days, I'm out of my funk, so I'm trying to look at things positively. Like, yeah, it's fucked up in all kinds of different ways, but at least it's not the Bar still being champions.
I guess, but that's a low bar.
Oh, well.
No
I mean,
pun intended.
it's like when Jinder Mahal won the WWE title. Well, at least it's not Randy Orton again.
No,
That's
sir.
not necessarily a good thing.
Sir. Sir. No, sir. That's a big difference. The WWE. Go ahead.
I'm not happy about it really either. Because now in my life, I have to recognize that Shane McMahon has held 3 different championships in WWE. He is now a tag team champion.
Two spots from this match I want to highlight. One is where Shane goes for the double coast to coast and gets bodied by Cesaro, which is also the second part. Dude, Cesaro swung Shane so long. For one, I think Shane actually hit the back of his head during that spot. And then Cesaro proceeds to do the Cesaro swing. The motherfucker wouldn't quit swinging him. I even got dizzy.
Yeah.
Like, usually he stops at, where the crowd, 1, 2. Fuck, even the crowd quit counting. Like, it just kept going. Like, I had to look down seriously because I was getting dizzy. And the whole time Shane's holding his shirt, so you can't see his fat. the entire time Shane,
Shane,
he's got one hand on his shirt, and one hand behind his head.
Shane is retaining a lot of water. Like a lot of water. That dude's on supplements, and that's all I'm going to say. Shane McMahon's a tag champion now. And good, you're not going to get
Put some respect on the greatest of all, or the greatest in the world's name.
No, you need to go to your room.
Sir, I'm in my car. Oh, you said room.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was kind of.
But we called it. We all said this was what was going to happen.
Yep.
So,
we all know where this is going. This isn't leading to like a long year reign of Miz and Shane being tag team. We all know where this is leading.
Miz versus
I
Shane.
just didn't think it would involve Miz's dad, but yet here we are.
Did you see the horror story that was brought up in the Daily today?
Shut your fucking mouth. I saw it the night it happened. They're gonna on Twitter somebody said, "Oh God, we're gonna get Shane and Vince versus Miz and Miz's dad." You can fuck right the fuck off with all of that.
If a chill didn't just go down your spine and hearing that, you don't have a soul.
That dude, you can.
And you know what?
The sad part about it is, it's not a sad. It's the saddest part about it is, Vince is getting old. Vince is old.
Vince is 73.
Well, older.
Old is old.
Somebody 74 or older listening. Getting up there in age. There's a part of my brain that could see Vince wanting to do it one more time. One last hurrah. And I need a bucket to vomit in. But I can't really see it, but at the same time, it's Vince. This is his show. It's his vision. It's work. I could see.
It's his son.
Before we start losing subscribers and listeners, I'll just leave it at that. No chance. No, this is just gonna be Miz versus Shane at WrestleMania. But
you can't rule that out as a possibility. No matter how hard you want to wish it away, that is a distinct possibility that Vince wants to have one more match at WrestleMania with his son.
You get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And who's one of the most loyalist to Vince? Who's one of the only never done anything else but WWE guys? Miz.
Yeah.
Vince.
That it's a very, very small percentage of a sliver, but that damn very small percentage of a sliver is there. Mm-hmm. And it just
Vince. It's not worth it, man. A Miz match isn't worth it, dude.
It's not. You know what? It's not about the Miz in this scenario.
Nope.
It's about Shane and WrestleMania. Two of his. I know this is going to sound weird, y'all, but two of his proudest creations. His son and the grandest stage of them all.
WrestleMania?
Yeah. It doesn't matter who would be against.
No, I just took a big old, it wasn't even a body punch, just a TKO, just TKO to Steph. His two greatest creations, Shane and WrestleMania.
Well, this is Vince we're talking about. I mean,
but
I'll leave it. I'll leave it at that.
The more I talk about it, the more we're talking about it. I don't want to talk about it because it's like, yeah. And honestly, just an honest. We're all getting older. I could
Yeah.
see. I could see it. This is my baby. You know, as far as the WrestleMania, this is my baby. One of my babies with Shane. If I'm gonna go out and not die per se, but if I'm leaving, fuck everything. I'm leaving on my terms. And you know what? I actually can respect that. If I'm gonna hand the reins to somebody else, I'm gonna do it. In the words of Sinatra, and but better done by Elvis Presley, my way. I'm doing it my fucking way, and then you guys have at it.
Just so we don't have to talk about this anymore. The next match.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Vince has a lot of babies. I mean, as you know, he is a genetic jackhammer.
Again, go to your room.
We have corrupted Metal Matt so bad it's not even funny.
I think it's great.
So do I.
Of course you do. So the next match on the night was the Raw Women's Championship with the Boss Sasha Banks challenging Ronda Rousey.
Hold on, just because she perked up a little bit. Hey, do you see Vince wrestling at WrestleMania this year?
Yeah, I do.
You could see that happening. That's where that scenario, like everything else that's going on around, and his last hurrah is a WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
And I just died a little inside.
I mean, but if you're a wrestling fan, you have to know that possibility in the slightest is there. And yeah, so now we have Ronda versus Sasha because I don't want to talk about this anymore.
It's hurting me. So,
Remember that set out?
We do have to acknowledge
it just
that.
Went out the window.
I mean, we do have to acknowledge that Ronda clearly doesn't know the rules to a normal wrestling match.
Ronda doesn't know much here.
Because there was a point in the match where she takes Sasha out of the ring, does an armbar on her, then throws her back in the ring.
Look, and like begrudgingly looks at the ref like, fucking, tap her out. Like, Ronda?
Do you know where you are?
Yeah, Ronda. Ronda?
You're outside the ring. Get back in the ring. But this match, I swear to God, what I loved about this match was it played perfectly into the extended promo, the extended production piece they did with Sasha. The two paired together so perfectly. So the video of Sasha's training, which they should have shown on Raw, the previous Raw, with her working with Oni and Drew Gulak, with her training with Charlotte, another nod to the Horsewomen, with her training with Amazing Red, which, by the way, good for Amazing Red, getting to see his name in a WWE production piece.
True.
That guy deserves something like that.
Yeah. It might be the smallest thing, but that's huge to him.
Right.
And Adam, you do know that when you mention the Horsewomen, Ronda just had a great big rant going through her head.
Yeah, I'll deal with that here in a second.
Because it seems like any time someone mentions the Horsewomen, Ronda just gets up on her high horse. Like, someone can just like one of the four horsewomen can just like, let me tell you something about the four horsewomen. We gonna walk in the campaign.
Wait a minute. Wait, when did Ronda Rousey become Mr. T?
I paid the fool.
Holy
You think
shit.
you're the real four horsewomen.
Oh God! Oh, I need a minute. Oh,
I have questions now. Oh God, we've gone off the rails.
oh, thank God I was not taking a drink or something right then. Oh, I'd have some explaining to do in the morning. Why is there beer all over the Rev? Well, Matt made this joke. Oh, dude.
Oh, okay. I don't know how I'm going to recover from that. So
I think we just ended here. That's the fucking main event right there. Just good night, guys. Like, you're not getting better than that.
Ronda, like I said, the match played into the production piece. Sasha was bringing out different holds, joint manipulation. The whole point was she choked Ronda with her gear, which I thought was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was botched previously because Ronda was supposed to rip off the arm gear and accidentally pull down her bra thingy. We were a few centimeters away from a slip, if you will. That was supposed to happen outside the ring, and Ronda grabbed the wrong piece of Sasha's gear. That's why Sasha's the one ripping it all off, because Ronda was supposed to do it outside of the ring and missed and pulled down right on the those thingies. And we were thankfully depends on how you are. Thankfully she let go before she like pulled the whole thing down.
Yeah,
so Sasha had to start ripping the arm part of her thing off.
But you know what? At least it's still pulled together the match. It was a botch, but they still managed to recover from it.
Yeah, because Sasha is so great that she was able to. She did like half of it, mid move, then did a little more. Then when she really went for it, like you could tell, like, okay, she's really trying to get that shit up her arm that Ronda was supposed to get off.
And I also like we saw in the other women's match. In this match, Ronda won in a different fashion.
She pinned.
Right. Sasha scouted the armbar, so they had to figure out another way for Ronda. She had to figure out another way for her to win. My brother just came back inside because it's so cold. It froze the inside of my mouth. Then go outside with the mask.
How do you start your car?
Lock it twice and then hit the refresh button. Sorry, everybody. We're trying to get shit squared away. But I'm horrible, I know.
No, we'll talk about that another time.
Dick.
But no, it's not a dick thing because you and I will talk about that.
Yeah. So that Ronda had to find another way to win, and she did. So it also furthered Ronda's story here.
Yeah, like it was. And if you're going into this with any hope of Sasha winning over Ronda, that wasn't happening.
And then the post match with the handshake, then the Sasha throwing up the fours.
Yes, and they took their sweet time about it, which I like.
They made sure
The handshake, like, because it intensifies, like, oh, something's gonna happen here, in the middle of the ring. Something's gonna happen here. Nope, they actually shook hands. Ronda left, and Ronda did whatever the hell Ronda does, and then Sasha starts walking up the aisle, and then Ronda, after blah blah blah, starts walking up the aisle, high fiving, but in her defense, she sold the arm injury from earlier in the match and was doing left-handed, high fives and stuff instead of. And then they met in the aisle, and the camera crew was great, zooming in on Sasha, and you see it in Sasha's eyes before Sasha turned around and went back.
It's too cold.
You can do it from inside the house. You just do.
Or this
wasn't
time champion. This time it was 4 horsewomen,
But
and then turned
should
left.
do it because my car died. So you can start your car.
But I will say, in regards to this, even though we got to the finish, the promo Ronda cut afterward, does she not get it? Because she seemed legitimately shook by the fact that people were not on her side here.
Oh, she's always done that.
But it seemed to be more intense this time. Like, she seemed almost exasperated. Like, why are people booing me? Don't they know that we're She legitimately said the words.
Oh, are you talking about on Raw?
No. Did you see the post-Rumble promo?
Oh. We have to get through the Rumble before we start talking about post-Rumble.
But, I mean, it was in regards to this match, which is why I was wanting to bring it up. Because the post-pay-per-view promo that we saw from her, it's like she doesn't understand.
No, see, and I completely disagree. She does understand. She just doesn't. She can't handle it. She doesn't know how to handle not being universally loved.
Yeah. But we can, like you said, that was a post-Rumble thing, so we can deal with that then. But now we come to the first.
Matt, what do you think about the Sasha Rumble match? Sasha
Ronda.
I thought it was a pretty solid match, but it's the same old Ronda match. I don't know. There just wasn't much to it.
One of her better matches, even if you you could see spots that. AA?
I didn't see the Rumble.
Well, I thought you were. I thought you said something.
Nope.
Oh, sorry. One of Ronda's better matches, and you could see Sasha calling some spots. So obviously it was, rehearsed and stuff, but maybe not to the degree of the previous Ronda matches.
I think this is probably Sasha's best match. I mean, Ronda's best match. And because, once again, Sasha Banks just knows how to work in that ring.
That she does.
I mean, we call a lot of different people wrestling prodigies these days because some of them really are. Guys like Pete Dunne and Tony Storm and Tyler Bate and Rhea Ripley, and the list goes on.
Motherfucker.
You can't even argue it, so stop. But Sasha Banks absolutely is a wrestling prodigy. She gets it.
Absolutely.
Down to the detail. She gets it. And
I know you didn't watch AA, but what are your feelings on Ronda going over Sasha?
Well, I'm not a fan of Ronda, so I think Sasha should have gone over.
I wouldn't have hated it.
Nope, wouldn't have been mad at all.
But going into the next match is the 30-woman Royal Rumble match where the winner receives a title match of their choosing at WrestleMania 35. This was also the longest match of the night, going at a insane 1 hour and 12 minutes.
Before
Exactly.
we get into the match details itself, and not to spoil anything from the men's match, the women's match, Rumble's match was more fun, and I can't emphasize the word fun enough. The match was more fun than the men's that main evented. This was a more fun watch to me and to us watching in the Mox household.
This was the more fun Rumble, but I think it suffered at the very beginning because,
Guess why?
well, could it be because they put Lacey freaking Evans in at number one?
And who was number 2?
Natty, who, by the way, was the match's Iron Woman. So, way to make another star there, WWE.
What a boring fucking way to start off a match.
Oh, you meant number 2 in the Rumble. Okay, my bad.
Matt is in rare form.
I commend him for that. That was beautiful. Natty's time, everybody, for those who want to know what her time was being the Iron Woman. The match went an hour and 12 minutes, as I said. Natty was in the match 56 minutes.
Are you getting that information from Kane?
No, I'm getting it from Wikipedia. Although I'm sure Claire's number is
No, wrong Kane. Wrong Kane.
wrong page. Well, you're right. I'm getting that from Wikipedia, and it's showing 56 minutes and 1 second
Okay.
for Natty's time.
If you guys don't follow Kane, CAIN, KNIGHT on Twitter, follow him, and he's one of the writers, and he does all the stats and stuff for the Rumbles, and it's very, as a math person myself, like it's very useful, and where I don't have to do it myself. He times all this stuff. Very knowledgeable, very useful for information like this, and I'm pretty sure whatever he's saying isn't wrong with what Wikipedia is saying. Even he might even be the one doing the Wikipedia stuff.
He could be.
Like,
so you were talking about Matt, you say?
Oh,
you know, they said that all men are created equal, but you look at me and you got Samoa Joe, and you can see that statement is not true.
We can't say the word math anymore on the show.
Oh God.
So
hey, how are you liking like the
You guys want to know
Adam, myself, and you like continuing from trying it changes every week like
You guys are entertaining.
Oh God. So another problem this match had to start was we didn't get a legitimate possible winner in this match till number 13 when Charlotte entered. I will quickly read the first 12 names in this Rumble, and I want you to tell me where we were supposed to get excited as far as a potential winner. Like we said, number 1 was Lacey Evans, and number 2 was Natty. Number 3 was Mandy Rose. Number 4,
Corey Graves got all excited, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Someone said this on Twitter, and I know this. We try to be nice and respectful on the show. Sometimes,
Since when?
never. I was just trying to be nice. Mandy needs to fuck Corey Graves and get it over with because this is getting annoying.
Yes, and I appreciate you leaving out the word that was used in that, because there's a word in that because I know what tweet you're talking about. Yeah.
But number 4 after Mandy was Liv Morgan, who was the quickest eliminated.
What a lot of horse shit that was. Mandy fucking Rose Riot Squad. Mandy Rose. Refresh, Mox. Refresh. Liv Morgan was the Santino Morello spot. Are you kidding me? It worked later, but at the time I was pissed.
It actually kind of hurt.
And it was the spot where Matthew Sims' mind exploded.
Well, mine kind of too, because we're supposed to be getting ready for the Riot Squad into the women's tag title match at Elimination Chamber, which would actually happen 24 hours later. But you don't want to give Liv Morgan a shot to kind of prove herself in the Rumble?
But and that all goes into, hey, Natty's number 1. Way to make a new star, WWE.
So after Liv, and when Liv got eliminated, it did kind of affect the crowd.
Yes, like even the live audience, just from who I was talking to online and my household, like what?
Yeah, it hurt. But after Liv, there was Mickie James, Ember Moon, who, props to Ember Moon, who was the second longest survivor in the match, going 52 minutes and 23 seconds. She walked into the Rumble with a busted elbow.
Yeah, props to her.
Wrapped it up and went in there for nearly an hour and busted her ass.
Fuck to all the people that say, well, did it happen at this spot, Alexa? Or what about this spot? Where did Alexa hurt you? Fuck all those people. She went into it. So kudos to Ember doing that and being able to do that. It didn't happen during the match, you stupid fucks.
And please stop sending Alexa, bullshit. She may deserve it some nights, but this wasn't one of them. And you should be congratulating the poor girl for being able to get back in that ring.
Yeah, her first match back. And all she's hearing is, that's a whole different topic.
After Ember, it was Billie Kay.
One of the highlights.
Yes.
Not for the same reason Matt saying
even
yes.
Even though Billie Kay got bullied by Nikki Cross, but that's another story.
Well, they got the revenge.
This was golden because Billy refused to get in the ring, and Billy was talking so loud that all the microphones picked her up, and even she went to the announce table. I'm not going in there until Peyton's here.
Well, number 9.
Hey! If that isn't true friendship, I don't know what is.
Some would say it's more than true friendship, but I don't want to go there.
We're not fanficking here, sir. We're not fanficking.
Only in my mind. But after Billie Kay came Nikki Cross, which really was one of the first big surprises,
and got a big ass pop.
So keep note of that, WWE. You want another star,
but it's like we said,
you have one. And you know what? Speaking of Nikki Cross, and this is just as a quick aside, it seems like they have separated her from Sanity.
Pretty much.
And I think that's going to be beneficial for her in the long run.
Yes. It might be beneficial for Dent, like negative for Sanity overall. Like those 3 guys
are fucked.
Well, I was going to say that much, but it will serve Nikki better in the long run.
Yeah. And after Nikki, Billie Kay got her wish as Peyton Royce came in at number 9.
And this was the best part of the Rumble.
There are a couple good parts, but these two are funny. So I don't want to slight them so I don't mean to slight them when I call them a comedy act, but they're
But they are.
but they are, and they're legitimately funny.
Wait, who are you calling a comedy act?
Friend.
The
That's
Iconics.
my friend.
The Iconics are a pure comedy act, but it works because they are funny. Listen, the sooner you come to grips with this, the better it will be for all of us.
And that's the thing. And to onions have layers. They're not. They can be more than just a comedy act, but they're so good at the comedy acts. They're so good at it. Billy doing her thing on her own, waiting for Peyton. The Nikki Cross just putting her through the barricade. And her
Like a bully.
hush. And then once Peyton arrives and they get in there and one gets destroyed and then the other one destroys whoever, and the kick ass, and then you stay away from and like screaming, stay away from my friend. That's my friend. And the comforting and that's just, that reminds me of like
friendship.
old school, like kind of stuff of, it was great.
It's funny. Yes, it doesn't help their book end, but
Yes.
but what they were given, it makes for an entertaining show.
Right. Sometimes you have to take but the booking sucks out of your head and just watch what's presented and be. If you went into the Royal Rumble thinking Billy Kay or Peyton Royce were going to win,
that was.
Yeah.
Hey, you never know.
I mean, you never know, and yeah, I was one of the ones like, hey, I think it was last week. Like, hell, let Peyton win. But if you honestly went into this, with the full-fledged stand, if Peyton doesn't win this, I'm canceling subscriptions, and I'm like, that's. But if you went into this knowing what they are and what purpose they're serving at the moment, they can, be booked better later. This was perfect for the Iconics.
But after Peyton,
at least they weren't booked like they were at Evolution. I'll at least give them that.
But after Peyton came Tamina, one of the first
Crickets.
Really, crickets, absolutely, yeah. You could have heard a pin drop. I think it registered with Tamina too, that when she walked out, nobody gave a shit.
Nobody.
But after Tamina, one of the first big surprises of the night, Xia Li from NXT was in the number 11. And then after her, we had Sarah Logan. And then finally at number 13, Charlotte came out. So from 1 to 12, there wasn't a single person you could have considered a winner.
And real quick, just to and I don't mean to always bring up what my reactions, like my household reactions, but when Xia Li came out, my wife said, "Who?" And my 9-year-old son instantly said, "Mom, you don't remember the Mae Young Classic?" my 9-year-old
remembered who she was.
Yes.
But really,
well, I think the bigger question is, how does Shadow react?
Oh, good God!
I have ways to ship him in ways to you, like in the live pet stuff, and Don't be surprised. Anyway, so yeah, Charlotte was 13th, and that was the first I roll Charlotte, and then be like, oh, okay, here's the first real contender.
Yeah, and by the way, Charlotte was number 3 in terms of time in the Rumble. She lasted 50 minutes, coming in at the 13th spot. And she also had the most eliminations.
Okay,
Like,
Kane. Not, and I'm talking about Kane, the wrestler. Like,
I
not,
know.
okay.
So, and from there, we really don't have to focus on too many other people. I will say a couple things I liked from here outside of when we'll get to the finish. The Riot Squad.
That's what she said.
Funny.
Yeah, well, because we touched so much on the Liv Morgan thing, once Ruby entered, the Riot Squad came with her, and they just wrecked shit.
They were beating the piss out of people, throwing them to Ruby so she could eliminate them. Ruby had 3 eliminations, tied for second.
Push that woman.
Yes, push her. She could, good God, make her a star because she can be. We've waxed poetic about Ruby Riott on the show before. Yes, make her a star. She is.
Yeah, she already is a star. Present her as one.
The fact that she didn't get the Iron Woman spot in this match is kind of criminal. But I get why they chose Natty. But it is what it is. Couple of the other surprises. We mentioned Xia Li. We got Kairi Sane, Candice LeRae, Casey Catanzaro, who had
The best spot of the night.
it was the best spot of the night.
Yeah.
Granted, it was damn near
Porn.
yes. That was
For those that haven't watched her, she did a Kofi spot, and we all know when we're talking about Royal Rumbles, there's a Kofi spot. Casey just outdid a Kofi. We should start renaming it the Casey spot because Casey completely changed the game on the Kofi spot.
yeah, that was one of the most incredible feats of athleticism. I wouldn't call it athleticism. Hand-eye coordination, body control, pure strength.
And thankfully they didn't have, because Casey is kind of smaller. Like they let her stay in there, and they gave her not just that one spot, but she had a few spots that were. If you guys have been following me or listening to me, like I've been following her since way back when in ANW, American Ninja Warrior. Like and not just like a looks thing. Like, yeah, she's pretty, but she's very
Gifted.
She's gifted. She's very won't let obstacles stand in her way, and that's very attractive in anybody. Like, okay, I'm smaller than everybody else. I can do it. Like, that's a very attractive quality to me.
She's smaller than Alexa, people. By like a lot.
Speaking of Selena Vega.
Well, Selena Vega actually was after Casey. But the other surprises were Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley.
Boo! How the fuck are you not going to have the NXT UK champion in the Royal Rumble? What the hell were you thinking? Tony Storm should have been in the Royal Rumble, and I'll hear nothing else.
I called Rhea being in on Two Guys One Sport. I just want to point that out.
Because you hate life and because you're a Browns fan.
Did you get it all out of your system?
Yes, now I'm done.
Okay. Um, so I like the surprises. Two of the cool things that we saw after the show, for me, regarding to these surprise entrances, the picture that was taken of Johnny Gargano in the locker room, seeing Candace come out for the Rumble, is one of the coolest pictures you'll see. Find it if you get the chance. Because he doesn't know it's being taken. It's just Johnny standing there watching his wife make her Rumble debut. Very cool.
I don't know if this is the second one, but I will interject real quick. Also, it's Ricochet with
Yep,
Casey Canzaro. I'm not. I apologize if that was your second one,
it
but
was.
it was.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm a dick.
No, you're not. Well, yeah, you are, but it's fine.
Shut your fucking mouth.
It was.
It was.
And for those that don't know, they're not married or anything, but they're boyfriend, girlfriend, and
It. So that was two really cool things. Seeing Ricochet's reaction and how he was dealing with it. He
the
was
reason
very
I said it like I cut you off, and I didn't mean to. I didn't know that was your second one. I thought maybe your second one was the release footage of when the NXT people found out they were going to be in the Rumble.
Should have mentioned that, but no, that was also cool.
Yeah.
Find those things if you can because they're just great pieces of real life in this
Yeah.
sometimes not very real business. But one of the other things that actually happened in the match, when Rhea Ripley got eliminated by Bailey, I think it was, the bump she took, I'm half shocked her knees didn't spontaneously combust. Because both of her heels hit that floor at the same time, and she didn't have any time to brace, so it was just her legs hitting the floor. So that
as much as I kayfabe, and my hatred for Rhea Ripley is strictly kayfabe. I hope everybody gets that. I cannot stand Rhea Ripley. I don't want her. For those that have been listening for over the year we've been on air, related to Metal Matt and his hatred for the Miz, like it's not like I hate. Well, I don't know because Matt might actually hate Mike Mizian, but
No, I don't actually hate the person Mike Mizan. I hate the character of The Miz.
that's I keep my hatred like strictly kayfabe. But
Yeah,
when she that didn't look right. Apparently she's okay. I haven't heard any different.
I haven't either.
But in kayfabe, break your legs, bitch.
So he went there, everybody. All right.
In kayfabe. I hope it hurt. Yeah, exactly. I hope it hurt. Just strictly kayfabe.
As we get to the end of the match here, Lana comes out in spot number 28. However, Lana is selling the bump she took from the apron. She's barely being able to walk. She's limping the whole night. Becky Lynch comes out from the back and demands to be put in the Rumble in Lana's place by none other than
Fit Finley is a god.
And one of the coolest twists of fate here, no pun intended. Fit Finlay. Now, for those who don't know, Fit Finlay, either the wrestler or the producer, been in the business for years. Dude is a second or third generation wrestler in his own right. One of the toughest dudes there was in a shoot sense. But he's also been a
In
producer.
wrestling, David Finlay is his son.
Yes, David Finlay is his son. From I believe he is from Belfast.
Yes.
From Belfast, um, but he's also been a producer. And in the early part of the 2000s, he was the guy in charge of the women's division. He was the guy who was giving them to help train them, help giving them their spots, their finishes. All of that came from Fit Finlay. He was the one in the early part of the 2000s fighting to get those girls more TV time. Maria Kanellis did a shoot interview where she highlighted that. She, I'm sorry, Maria Bennett Kanellis. I'm sorry, Kanellis Bennett. It doesn't matter. So for Becky, not only as an Irish woman, but as a women's wrestler, for them to have that moment together,
Yeah.
and how they set that up, that was hands down one of the coolest things they did. What
That was, you went kind
Yeah.
of way off the rails with where you were going with it, but yes, that was a cool, because Becky, Lana's selling the injury, and Becky comes out and let me in, put me in, and referees are checking on Lana, and then finally Fit Finlay
just
does a motion with both hands and with fingers pointing, go, just go, you're in. And that was if you get the subtle reference to that, that was an actual cool, not like just a like Chris Robinson or Mike Chioda or Nick Patrick referee. And if you don't get those three references, I know Matt better than you. It was Fit Finlay.
I will say this: Mike Chioda is starting to give Nick Patrick a run for his money.
That's why I said I used that reference and said, "Yeah, you go, take her place, go." And that was really cool.
And so Becky goes in at number 28. Nia 29, Carm 30, as we all know. Carmella at number 30. And it comes down to the final two. Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair.
Can we pause real quick before we get to the finish?
Yes.
Can we give Charlotte, and this isn't just this match, it was very on display this match because a lot of people just watch like the Big Four stuff. Charlotte Flair, whenever she has a match, comes out of the match looking like she's been through fucking hell. Her hair's all fucked up. Her makeup is all runny. Like, it doesn't look like she easily did anything. Her hair's always jacked up. Like, it looks like she just went through a battle. I don't like Charlotte. But and this was one of the times I did throughout, she came in at 13. And throughout the match, you could tell just by how she came into the match, all glamorized and robe and
she looked good, by the way.
Meh. And as the match went through, and it's not just this Royal Rumble, it's every match she has. When that match is over, no matter who, if she wins or if she loses, you can tell she went through hell during that match. She doesn't win or lose, and my hair is still perfect. My makeup's still fine. like I have to give her at least that much credit of like, damn, she fought a battle.
Charlotte goes into every match, whether you like her or don't, whether you think she's given way too many opportunities based on her last name, whether you think she's booked because she's blonde and had. I won't go there, but you know where I
Yeah,
was going.
I'll say it, blonde and white. I'll say it.
Oh, that wasn't what I was going to say.
Well, I'll say it, blonde and white.
Blonde, white, and has big boobs. Uh,
It's that big, sir.
well,
Well, anyway, go ahead and say what you were saying.
she goes into every match with the intent of, no matter how the match unfolds, coming out of it looking like she was actually in a fight.
Yeah, that's what I literally just said.
I was summarizing, sir. God damn. She takes care of
And that's there's a lot of pluses to Charlotte. My biggest plus to Charlotte, she doesn't, you can have your contract signings or whatever that don't have physical, but if she's in a match, she is coming out of that match looking like she was just in a match, no matter what.
Yep. And it doesn't matter. She can come in looking like $1,000,000 and come out looking at it like she just went through a hurricane.
Yeah.
And that,
Like, okay, came in like $1,000,000. I'm leaving looking like I'm homeless.
right.
Like, I haven't
And you
washed
know
my
what?
hair in months.
You know what?
Yeah.
And I just want to point out that's something not even her father did.
Yeah. Well, when he had more hair, he would,
Yeah.
but he couldn't later when he started losing it so much on top.
Rick always managed to kind of look the same, unless he was getting color. But Charlotte takes that next step of making sure she went through something. But anyway, we come down to the finish. My God, these two told a story. In the time they were given, they still told a story. Becky,
And you have to remember, Becky Lynch's knee was hurt from Asuka earlier on.
yeah, she's limping there in the corner, looking at Charlotte, saying, "You've taken this from me. You've taken things from me. You're not going to take this from me." And from that point, they were on. It was time to go. And
Both whenever I'm trying to, dude, I'm actually trying to help you out because it's after midnight your time. I don't know when you need to go, and we're just now on the Women's Rumble.
I know I'll try to. Basically, how it ends is Charlotte goes over the top. Becky's still kind of selling the Becky hammers her. Charlotte doesn't fall off, and then it was the second one that did it. Charlotte falls off. Becky wins the Rumble in the pop.
WWE did the right thing.
Yep.
That's not what you said 2 hours before that, sir.
Or there they did the wrong thing.
WWE a whole bunch of bullshit, and like I can screenshot the messages. I'm giving you a hard time.
I know.
They basically, this was the right call. No one else could have had that reaction. Nobody.
Okay. You guys won't say it. I'll be the one that says it. Did you guys not hear some jeers in the crowd?
I heard some.
I didn't hear any.
I don't know if
I really didn't.
Of course you wouldn't. I don't know if they were closer to microphones or whatever, but yeah, it wasn't a unanimous. Oh my God, Becky won the Rumble. It wasn't.
It was damn near.
Close enough. Don't get me wrong, but there was some.
Yeah,
There
but yeah,
was actually more jeers when the final two were Becky and Charlotte.
and I think that had to do a lot with Charlotte because I think some thought Charlotte was going to go over, even though every part of this story told you no, she wasn't.
Okay, so to answer your question from an hour ago, Morris fucking snapped.
Here we go, Allie. This is the story. I want you to listen.
I want to hear this.
Morris was pissed.
Why?
I don't have the answers, and I asked. Morris was, well, I keep using his shoot name. My son, for those that don't know, my son's name is Morris, which hopefully, if you're listening, you do. If not, oh, anyway. All of a sudden, I'm in my recliner, wife and Morris, on the couch, and we're all watching Royal Rumble. And he really didn't like the ending of the the ending of the Asuka Becky match. But this is just when out of the blue, my son just went full on loathing Becky. He was angry. Like, no, 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 no. Like there was I don't want to say temper tantrum, but he hated that Becky won the Rumble. Like, hated it.
You're saying if he was allowed to drop the F bomb, you would have heard several.
Yeah, it would have been maybe not even suitable for Violent Wrestling Podcast, kind of, if he was allowed to use language like that. Yeah, he was pissed. He was in the middle of. In fact, he wasn't on the couch. Um, on Yeah, this is gonna sound sad. We make. I think I've said it before. On big pay-per-view nights, like, we bring a bed into the living room where Morris likes wrestling with his wrestling figures and dolls and stuff, while he's watching. All that shit got thrown off the bed. He was done with wrestling. He was done with Becky Lynch. Like, all of a sudden, like, apparently it's been brewing a little bit that I wasn't aware of. But he went from what I thought was somewhat of a Becky fan. I know he has more like favorites. Becky wasn't on top of his list. To he loathes Becky. He wants nothing more to do with Becky.
Orchid's just confused.
Did he
Uh,
did he intimate who he wanted to win?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Is there somebody that you wanted to win and said?
don't give him shit. Please don't give him shit.
I'll reserve judgment.
But regarding the final two, and he made a comment actually the next morning that will make sense in just a moment. Charlotte. And the comment I was alluding to, Charlotte reminds him of Emma.
Oh.
Now it makes sense.
Now it makes a total bunch of sense.
You guys have seen pictures of his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And once he said that, the next morning, like, hey, how'd you like the Rumble? Like this, didn't like this, love this. And Becky, without, he doesn't cuss, but, basically, fuck Becky. Charlotte should have won. Like, why are you still on? And like, oh, my son's girlfriend. Yes, he's 9. He has a girlfriend,
Oh,
and
insert all
Charlotte
here.
resemble each other.
Yeah, okay. So when's the wedding?
You're an ass, sir. You're an ass. But yeah, he turned, which kind of shows his loyalty to his girlfriend at 9 years old, which I can
Yay.
dig that.
Yeah.
But he also let's also not forget here. This is an inside story, people. So sorry if you're not aware. He did just a few days prior to the Rumble hang up on his girlfriend. Like straight up, he picked up the phone. I'm in the middle of the game. I'll call you back, and hung up on her. Loyal, yes.
Available? Not all the time.
Oh god. Okay, so it makes sense. All right.
I, and I and I didn't see that he saw her and Charlotte as, but apparently he picked up on it a few months ago of like how he translates like his real life to what he sees in wrestling. Like, hey, she kind of looks like my girlfriend. I'm gonna start rooting for her. And oh, it was hell when Becky eliminated Charlotte. Like, oh, he was pissed.
Okay.
Yeah,
The inner mind of
that's the true story. I didn't want to type out in the day. That's exactly how that went. Of and now he won't like talk about it. Well, for one, I won't ask about it. But that's once he said what he said. The day after, the morning after. Like, oh, he's like kind of transposing.
Charlotte for Emma and vice versa.
Like, oh shit. Okay.
Okay.
I got it right away, and so after that I just left it alone. Like, oh shit.
Okay.
Yeah. That's which might be a better story, like if I actually did tell it, but in writing, but yeah, that happened.
All right. Well then,
I
I think.
one less Becky fan.
After this,
It went
the
straight downhill.
the Rumble took the whole pay per view kind of took a downturn after this. So after this, we got Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship, and I'm not going to say this is a bad match.
It wasn't. You just don't follow a Rumble with this match.
No, it was boring. It was boring. These two have no business putting on a boring match.
Yeah, their TLC match was better.
Yeah.
And this ties all the way back into the Dean Seth, like were they doing this purposefully? What, like this was just
This match went on nearly 25 minutes.
for one it was way too long.
But the big story coming out of this is that it wasn't a clean finish. Because Eric Rowan has returned. And apparently he's an eco-friendly bad guy. I don't understand what Eric Rowan's motivation is.
It is as random as it is. What that basically
Which
tells
makes it
me
better.
is that it just tells me that okay, we don't want to have the Bludgeon Brothers team up anymore, which is good. I'm fine with that. Let Harper go on his own. This just feels like throwing crap at the wall and seeing if it sticks. That's what that feels like to me.
And as much as I love Brody from CZW, this was not. And I know there's been a outpour of should have been Luke Harper. No,
No,
this is
no.
the perfect Eric Rowan spot.
This is Eric Rowan's spot. Be a henchman. Luke
Yeah.
Harper can do more than that.
Yeah, Luke. Exact. For one freaking time in your life, you get it, Adam. You get it.
Oh, the shit I put up.
Your paycheck will be there Friday.
That's all I need to know. So Daniel Bryan goes over, which goes into SmackDown with one of the greatest things I think I've ever seen in my entire life.
Which also ties into the second greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. But if we can hurry, we can get there. Because I want to piggyback off of what you're thinking.
After this, we had the other big title match. Brock Lesnar defending against Finn Balor. They did a good job trying to tell. They made Finn. You almost felt like Finn was going to win. Right up until the time he didn't.
Win, Finn, win. Win, Finn, win.
They played into the diverticulitis.
Yeah, my opinion on that, they played into it a little too much with the second corner table spot. Like if they would have just done it the first time and condensed the match a little.
They couldn't condense it any more than they did. This thing didn't even go 9 minutes.
Well, if they would have made it 5.
Yeah.
Like, Brock does Brock things and Finn catches him, outside and hits his liver, whatever, in the corner. Not saying it would have been any better at 5, but like it got. And this is where you have to remember Brock Lesnar, love him, hate him. I personally loathe him in the last few years just because of what he's done to everything else, on the roster. But dude can sell when he wants to sell.
When
he's into it, he's into it.
When Brock is motivated, he's in there with somebody he wants to be in there with. He'll sell for anybody. But he has to have the right conditions have to be met.
Yeah.
Which was weird considering the Dean Ambrose match, but okay.
Right. And see, that ties back into the beginning of the show of what the fuck that was. And
that was Brock unmotivated and he didn't give a fuck.
Right. But the question is, why?
For some reason, Brock has a particular set of...
He likes the smaller guys, and this isn't... That sounded perverted, but it's not.
I wasn't even thinking of that when you said it. No.
But he likes working with the smaller guy, the AJ Styles, the Finn Balor's, the Daniel Bryans. And I don't... What's the difference in those and Dean Ambrose? Like, Dean Ambrose weighs a little more?
A little taller? I
wish I was a little bit taller, y'all. I wish I was a baller, y'all. Okay. If you don't get that Skilo reference, then...
Get out. But like Brock has this thing with working with guys who are small. I think it's because he can throw them around.
True. That has to be like forefront. Like when he does his Brock stuff, like he can literally throw them. Like that has to be part of it. But
yeah, it doesn't make sense when you think about it in terms of what pro wrestling is. But it just makes sense for Brock. He doesn't really want to have to work any harder than he has to. We've seen that. And so working with a smaller guy lets him kind of go in there and just be Brock. I want to throw you around a little bit. I'll sell for you.
On the flip side of the coin, I'll let you, hurt me a little bit.
Right, I'll sell for you. I'm going to make you look good because Brock can sell with the best of them.
That's what I was just saying. Like, if he's motivated, if he's into it, like, dude, like some people can use some selling classes for what Brock does.
But when it came time, Finn hit the coup de grace. He went for the pin, and like in an MMA fight, Brock out of nowhere put on the Kimura lock and won.
Yeah,
It did like an MMA fight, which is what I think they were going for, and I don't have a problem with it.
yeah, it was.
The only problem I have is we're going into Mania with Brock as the Universal Champion, and I'm tired of it. I'm just tired.
Yeah, exactly. Like it. Imagine all the possibilities if it this season of WWE, if that title was on anybody but Brock, anybody.
How much excitement we'd be feeling if it was Finn going into Mania with the belt, considering what happened in the men's Rumble,
Yeah,
which is what we'll get to now. The main event of the evening was the 30-man over-the-top Royal Rumble for the title match of their choice at WrestleMania 35. This match ended up going 57 minutes and 35 seconds.
so
And
the main event of WrestleMania happened at the previous Rumble, but go ahead.
you and we have to start with the beginning of this match because
No, we fucking don't. No, we don't. No,
We're
we
going
do
to.
not. No, we don't.
So
We can
number
just skip
one.
right to number motherfucking 3. Mother.
Number one entered Elias. And
I
he
hope the
did his
Browns
thing,
go 0-16 again this year just for what you're doing. I hope they do.
but that wasn't the highlight of the first entrance
You mother.
because a certain twang hit that loudspeaker. And
Because
out
that's
came
JE double F
double F,
JA
J
double R E
E
double T.
double T. Jeff Jarrett was number 2.
Hey, can we fire them both at one time,
No,
please?
no.
No. Jeff Jarrett was the number 2 entrance in the Royal Rumble in the year of our Lord, 2019. Yes, the greatest carny to ever have carnied was in the Royal Rumble.
Sir, that wasn't Vince McMahon at number 2.
No, Vince wishes he was this kind of carny. I'm sorry. We don't have enough time to go into how amazing Jeff Jarrett is.
Has anybody still got their GFW gold stock?
Anybody who make any money off that? Anybody outside of Jeff Jarrett?
Did he even make money off of it?
I'm not sure. But this guy, but in any case, Jarrett comes in, wants to do a duet with Elias. They do a thing, and then Elias hits him with the guitar, tosses him. And what's kind of sad is Jeff Jarrett is also Elias's only elimination in the Rumble. He's the only person Elias eliminates. Oh, that's so sad.
What a way to make new stars.
Right? So it pretty much goes on. Your big surprise entrances are Johnny Gargano, NXT UK champion Pete Dunne.
Can we pause real quick? Speaking of Johnny Gargano, and I don't mean to make this as a trope because I'm tired of it myself of Candice LeRae being Mrs. Johnny Gargano in NXT. Candice LeRae wearing Dakota Kai's
No, Tegan's. I totally forgot.
Tegan Knox wearing her some of her ring gear patched into her outfit in the women's rumble. How fucking cool is that?
I totally forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. Candice wore a piece of Tegan's gear from the Mae Young Classic in the Rumble as a tribute to her friend.
Yes, that was such a
and we don't
and it would. I didn't notice it during. I noticed it on Twitter actually.
Tegan
How awesome is that?
And just as an aside about Candice, to the person who did that fake Candice LeRae tweet, I hope you burn in the deepest pits of hell.
Yeah, hell's not deep enough for what you were trying to do. I hope the attention you got comes back tenfold in a negative way because that's fucked up. We won't give this person attention or what they said, but if you guys don't know, Adam and I do, and hell's not good enough for you.
That was for someone who is as good of a person as Candice LeRae is. What they attempted to do is unimaginable, unthinkable, and I hope. Oh, the words I want to use will get me put in prison.
Let's get back to the men's rumble real quick.
The other surprises were Pete Dunne, the NXT UK champion, which goes into Mox's
done spot.
Pete Dunne's awesome, by the way. Let's not forget that.
Yes.
But it goes into Mox's point. If Pete Dunne can be here,
Where the fuck is Tony Storm?
I'm sorry. If you're going to have one, have both. And that's just how I feel about it. But after Pete Dunne, the other big surprise was Aleister Black, which I think this...
Tommy fucking in. Oh, sorry.
Wrong guy. Well, not wrong guy, but you know what I mean. I think they haven't said that's a call-up, have they?
No.
Okay. So a lot of big things, like cool spots in this match. Big shout to Mustafa Ali.
Yes.
Big shout to Mustafa Ali. He had himself a great Rumble.
He really did, and that's what anymore in WWE, and when it comes to like Rumble time, isn't that what we're looking for anymore? Yeah. Like, say a call up or a newcomer doesn't have to win per se, just a good showing. Like that's all we're looking for. Like we already know, like
he wasn't going to win, but we know.
You know, there's a very small handful of people that could possibly win. Just give them a good showing, and that's what going back to the women's Rumble about Liv. Like she didn't have a good showing on her entrance, but she came back, and the Riot Squad as a whole had a good showing. Like that's give us that, and I think most of us would be content. Just give us a good showing.
He was the number 2 in terms of the Iron Man race. He was actually in there a full half hour. The low man, the non-Iron Man, so I guess you can call him the aluminum man. I don't know. Why did Xavier Woods get eliminated in 3 seconds? And can someone explain to me why someone thought that was a good idea?
Nope.
Well, one thing about this Rumble, did anybody else feel that this match was rushed?
Towards the end,
of course it was. Yeah, of course it was.
Towards the end, it felt rushed, but then because they realized they were going into the midnight hour. That pay-per-view couldn't stay on till midnight. And I'm sorry, it wasn't Xavier. No way Jose was actually the quickest eliminate.
Yes. And still there's the Congo line.
Yeah. Another thing I want to point out here is why was Dolph Ziggler in the Final Four?
Because fuck you, that's why. That's the only because I keep asking why. Like I don't mind him being in the Rumble, but why was he? Because we're literally. You have to realize, like, my wife and yes, my 9-year-old son, and I don't say this in a derogatory way, is a smart. So he's like, okay, we have 4 spots left. Who hasn't been in? Who could be in? And when Dolph's music hit, oh, it wasn't quite Becky winning the Rumble,
But it was
pissed
bad.
off, but yeah, like oh, son of a. Especially since one of the things that took the element out of this year's surprises, quote unquote, was knowing the number 30s, Carmella and
Yeah,
Truth.
yeah.
And I said that with when they announced like the winner of the mixed match challenge will be number 30 and get a vacation. Like we already knew the vacation was going to be a fucked up R-Truth angle, which ended up being Stanford. But once they announced number 30 in the Rumble, like, well,
it put more emphasis on the spots 27, 28, and 29. And they did nothing with them.
yep.
Because the final 3 in the outside of kayfabe, the final 3 in the women, the final 3 unknown spots in the women's rumble went to Bailey, Lana, which ended up being Becky, and Nia. And then the final 3 in the men's were Braun, Dolph, and Randy. So there were no surprises. They did nothing with those final spots. Braun had the most eliminates at 5. But the story of the men's rumble really wasn't who won.
Not at all. The story of, and I don't mean to cut you off, the story of in my opinion, the story of the Rumble were other match possibilities that happened during the Rumble of, I need this right fucking now.
A lot of them centered around the NXT talent.
I need this now. Oh, and I'm not going to use the Michael Cole shilling phrase of how DM, but some of that shit I need right now.
Mm-hmm. But really, even more than that, story of the men's rumble happened at number 30 when his R-Truth was making his entrance. He was attacked from behind by Nia Jax. And Nia Jax took R-Truth's spot in the men's Royal Rumble, making her the 4th ever woman to compete in the men's Royal Rumble.
Oh, no. That's not how they sold it, though. They sold it as the first women's Royal Rumble wasn't just fucking last year. They sold it as the first woman to ever compete in both the women's and men's Royal Rumble.
Right, because they wanted to make her special, despite the fact that, again, she's the 4th woman to ever do it. Because the other 3 women didn't have the opportunity to have
exactly.
one.
But the call point made it a point to the first woman to ever to compete in both. Motherfucker, the first women's Royal Rumble was literally just last year.
Oh, anyway. So Nia Jax entered in the men's Royal Rumble number 30. To where she immediately eliminated Mustafa Ali. Again, way to make stars, WWE.
And what's funny is that he's competing for the WWE title in a few weeks.
And not only that, focusing specifically on Ali, and after this, I will have to hit the bed. I'm sorry.
Better.
The man was out there in trunks honoring another Ali.
Muhammad.
Rumble, young man, rumble. As Mustafa so eloquently put it on Twitter. But you have him eliminated by Nia Jax?
That was a dumb.
This has nothing to do with intergender wrestling. Has everything to do with, once again, rewarding somebody for their inability to perform their job.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's just.
But Nia did get eliminated after she took a 619, a super kick, and to finish it off, an RKO.
What's that mean? If you're gonna leave, we won't even get into the intergender stuff, but
yeah, I'll leave that to you guys if you want to handle that topic.
So,
but the winner of the Royal Rumble match, in pretty much obvious fashion, they made no bones about who was going to win this. The second the spot happened, you knew that Seth Rollins was going to win the Royal Rumble, and he did.
Yeah. And I think that was the right choice as well.
He lasted the longest at 43 minutes, 26 seconds. About 11 of which was spent on the outside sleeping.
he got put through a table, sir.
That was about as good as a nap.
Sir.
I know. They telegraphed it, but like we said, just because
one podcast, all three of my names have come up: Prince, Devitt, John Moxley, and now Kobe Lopez, which is Seth. Okay, I dig it.
Seth, but also the thing with Seth winning was, and I'm not bashing him winning, and just because I'm saying it was predictable doesn't mean it was bad. Predictable does not mean bad. But
right.
What I will say is this.
Oh, say it.
There was no one else that could have won this Rumble that would have made sense. And that's actually kind of a detriment to the WWE.
There was no one else in this Rumble, not just that made sense. There was no one else in this Rumble that really got you hyped for Jeff Jarrett? Really? Dolph Ziggler? Fucking really? Like, there was nothing.
This match lacked that big moment.
Yes, there was nothing to this big moment. And the second time Kofi did his Kofi spot, dude, I have it on video. Your feet hit, both your feet hit the ground. Before Xavier picked him up, like, dude, you were eliminated. And the one time production, had the camera on, like, oh, nope, cut to a different camera. No, both his feet hit the ground because Kofi spots. The second time was a complete botch.
Yeah, and what I will also say is, there was talk going into this Rumble that the WWE was working on a big surprise. That rumor went out. We don't know who it was or what they were working on. But if your plan B for your big surprise is Nia Jax entering the Royal Rumble,
you're failing at life, sir. You're failing at life.
Yes, you failed. You failed to make this Rumble mean something.
And I know it's going on 1 o'clock your time, and you do have to work early in the morning, and probably have to wake up even earlier to get through the blizzard.
Maybe.
But before you go, the people that thought Kenny Omega was going to show up at this Royal Rumble, hello, his contract doesn't end till February 4th. Like, get a clue.
Yeah,
You want to be smart fans? Be smart fans.
right. And I know some people were speculating Batista. Some people were speculating The Rock. Once again, be smart. That man has insurance agreements that he'll never get out of.
Adam, are you out?
Yeah, I hear yes. But really, what this Rumble boils down to is my final piece on the Rumble before you guys move on with the rest of the night. This Rumble will never be about who won the men's Royal Rumble.
Nope.
This is the night of the beginning, not only of the road to WrestleMania, but of the coronation of Becky Lynch.
No.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
This is the Royal Rumble 2019 forever etched in my mind will be the night that my son turned on Becky Lynch, his favorite.
I will say for the general public,
Oh, well.
not just you, sir. This match, this Rumble, is the coronation of Becky Lynch, the beginning of that process. It's going to end at WrestleMania. But what we are seeing is, for the first time in a long time, WWE seemingly leaning into a talent and saying, okay, fine. We're going to give her to you on a silver platter. Becky is going to be made into a megastar at WrestleMania. That road started here, and the spark started well before Evolution. Becky's ascent to this point is one of the greatest stories in pro wrestling.
And you can't say all that without saying, thanks, Nia Jax.
Yeah, and Nia, this is, you know it's
You
true.
can't do it. You
can't
cannot do it. You cannot. No matter how you try to dissect it, you cannot do it.
If Nia knocking legit shoot punching Becky, and that's what she did, is one of the most happy accidents ever. Because it turned Becky from just being a popular wrestler into having a moment. It was visceral. It was.
It was beyond visceral. Like, it was.
She became something bigger than just a popular wrestler.
Yes. It was one of the most polarizing things. And I've been watching. I've been in. Not. I haven't been in. I've been in the wrestling business, but I've been watching wrestling for I can't do math all of a sudden. 37 years. This is one of the most polarizing things. That punch.
It was as if lightning struck the moment itself.
Yep, and they've even tried turning it off, and you just can't. Nope, it was.
You know that meme of when someone you don't agree with or don't like say something, and it's that bald guy from The Onion where it says heartbreaking. The person you hate makes a good point.
Are you saying you hate me here?
No, not you. Bully Ray today on Busted Open Radio said that Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and I think he mentioned someone else, but I can't remember, Ronda, are four of the biggest stars in professional wrestling right now because of what is happening. they are stars for different reasons, and that the women have been kicking the men's ass for the last 4 months. And Bully Ray pretty much said they're the biggest stars in the business. Whether you agree with that assessment or not, when someone like Bully Ray is coming out and saying the women are not only performing well, but they are doing better than the men, and they have earned the spot they're going into at WrestleMania, that's huge. To say that women have reached the point of this journey that women's wrestling has been on to being to the main event of WrestleMania and being the biggest stars in the business, that's because of the person at the forefront of that is Becky Lynch. And I understand she's becoming. Some people are starting to hate on Becky.
You just say them by name. Just say them. Just say my son by name.
I'm not just talking about Morris. I'm seeing it online. I'm seeing people going, you know this is going to burn out, right? You know this is going to burn out, right?
I've seen
Like,
just a tweet right before we went live of if you like Becky Lynch and her faux hokey dokey the man gimmick, then you have no life. You're a dork and need to find something else to do. I literally saw that tweet right before I came on the podcast.
this flame may burn out bright and may burn out soon.
So be it.
So fucking be it. Let's ride this train.
Right. Like,
Because this run Becky Lynch is on puts her in the Hall of Fame.
oh, definitely.
And I'm not just talking about the WWE Hall of Fame. This puts her in the Wrestling Hall of Fame in Waterloo. This puts her in the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame up in New York. She has cemented herself as one of the greatest performers in this era.
And it just took not trying to take away from her previous years, but this we're literally talking about months. Like what, 6 months, half a year from when they started.
Nothing. 7 months ago, she had nothing.
All right, I know it's 1:00 your time. You got work in the morning. Where can they find you?
As much as I'd love to keep going, you guys, I do have to go to bed. So I want to thank everyone for letting me be on. You can find me at PWFan01.
Age don't care.
You know what? You're right. They don't care. I just want to thank everyone for letting me on. I'm going to go ahead and hit the hay now. Enjoy the rest of your morning. And good night.
Twitter handle, anything?
At PWFan on one on Twitter. I'm also at Kidside Seats and the Daily and the Nightly. I will talk to you guys later.
Peace. Thanks for being on, man.
Thanks,
Peace.
Adam.
Good night.
Fuck the Browns. He didn't just end the entire podcast, did he? We're still live, right?
Wait, what?
Oh, everything went silent all of a sudden. Hey, what are your and this is going to be a good perspective, because once they went full on, like, whacked out Dean heel turn, like you put off WWE, where you're not watching as much as you were. Like, what are your thoughts on the future, not the future of WWE as a whole, but like, what are your overall thoughts on the the month by month. I won't even dare do week by week, but just the pay per view by pay per view booking of what WWE's been doing.
Well, I've never given it any thought. It's WWE is out of my blood. It's out of my system.
Like just like shoot, like just um and I kind of knew this, but I wanted to ask, like, you know, like anything that we discussed that were, piqued an interest, or like there's just nothing there for you right now.
There's nothing there for me right now. Maybe something will come along and it'll pique my interest, but right now there's nothing.
Damn. And I get that. Like I might be a day late or something where I have to watch it on Hulu or whatever, but I've been at that point of, eh, like I didn't miss much kind of thing. What's happening in the old Rocky Mountain Pro?
Well, I didn't watch it last Thursday or Friday because I was sick,
Oh,
which was a shame because I really wanted to go last Friday. But this Thursday they're doing their supercharged episode. Royce Isaacs is going to be defending the television title. Royce Isaacs will be back. He's an RMP alumni.
you're gonna try to make it there?
Yeah, I'm going to try and make it down tomorrow. The roads and everything are okay.
That's so weird to me. Like everybody else is having winter storms, and you in Wyoming of all places, like, well, it's windy, but everything's fine.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, now
we're
I
really
say
not
that
going to get
a
hit till
southerner.
probably the end of February, March. That's when we usually get hit.
But you've been keeping up with the weekly charge episode and stuff, right?
Yeah.
What do you think of where they're going with the Lockettes championship?
We're still waiting to find out where they're going with that.
Yeah, but that's was my question. Like, okay, this is hell. Has it been a month already
Yeah.
that they the double pin, and I'm still enjoying it, but I'm just like, what's going to be the end result?
Well, you do know Anaya is no longer the charged champion.
Boo.
That went to Severino Corrente.
Yeah, I don't like Severino, but nah, it's my guy.
I don't like Severino. He's the true heel, and the character I cannot stand. I cannot stand Severino Corrente.
That might be just my LCG Left Coast Gorillas mark coming out, but boo. I like him. Like I like Severino, but yeah, ah. Then this past week, Matt have a tag match with Curtis Cole, or Not Curtis Cole.
Yeah,
Shoot.
he's been tagging with Curtis Cole.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, we're good.
They're they're pretty much working out to be going to the tag team, working in the tag team division together.
And it really kind of works. It really does. You get Mercury and Curtis on the same team, and how they operate. Like it's been fun. I'm a week behind, so I don't know what happened this week, but I'll catch it this weekend.
Well, I'm going to try and make it tomorrow. So if I make it tomorrow, I'll be in my usual spot.
The hard camera right corner
Yep.
where you always are.
Uh-huh.
That's what confused me. Shoot, with their
At the rack house.
yeah. But that one episode, like I kept looking to the hard camera right. I don't see Julia, and I'm gonna use your shoot name since we're talking about Rocky Mountain Pro. Like, that's not her. That's not her. Oh, there she is, second row. Usually you're right there front and center on the, like, you have the ring post and then there's you like right there every time.
I fooled you. It's like that. Where's Carmen San Diego?
This time, like, I legit played like, where's
Waldo?
yeah, where's Waldo? Like, look. Oh, found Waldo. Man, I'm so proud of them. They've been doing so well.
Yeah, they are. They brought Punished by Pixels back.
Yeah, and speaking of Mercury and Curtis Cole tag teaming, go ahead and say who's doing the pixels.
Mercury Matt
Wait,
Yaden and Curtis Cole.
yes, and it's so weird, but it's so fun at the same time.
Last week was hilarious because it was Curtis Cole by himself and he was doing Castlevania and he was losing it.
I don't blame him.
I figured Matt would understand about Castlevania.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a fun game, but it can be very difficult at times.
Today they were doing they went back and did Sunset Riders.
yeah, they went old school um, Super Nintendo on it today. But they yeah, the Castlevania, because Matt had played that, on his own, but when they got together, like, oh boy.
But it was
I
funny when it
mean,
was just Curtis Cole and he was losing it.
because I mean, Curtis Cole's kind of the younger generation, and I'm not even sure if Castlevania came out before he was born, and he just, like, he was kind of, I don't want to say lost, but he gave it a valiant effort. Metal Mat, do they have a Castlevania I can get on PS3?
I know that there's a Castlevania game on PS3.
Okay,
I
because I
believe
missed that game
Lord
so
of
much.
Shadow, I believe it is.
Yeah, next week they're going to do Zelda.
Ah, nice.
The original Zelda?
Yep, they're going to start with Zelda 1.
Oh Lord. And it's gonna be Mercury and Curtis Cole?
Yep.
Oh Lord. Folks, please tune into that. That's gonna be a hoot. Matt,
Yes,
what's going
Mox.
on?
Yes,
Go ahead.
Moxat. There is a PS3 Castlevania game. It's called Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Came out
Oh, and that's a hard no for me. Nope.
in
If
came
it's
out
got
in 2010.
if it's got Shadow in the name, nope.
Oh, come on. It ought to be easy for you if it's got Shadow.
Oh, so I just like grab a belt and start whooping ass, or what do I do? Bad joke. Bad joke. For those that don't get the reference, I have a dog named Shadow, and I always threaten to whip him with a belt, which I never do. But um, cool. We had a got takeout tonight, and unfortunately, it was the plan was supposed to be next time we met the guy I told you about with all the PS3 games.
Mhm.
We were supposed to go over there and look all at once and see what we wanted or if we wanted to buy everything. And anyway, um, got takeout tonight, and it took like 20 minutes or so before it was done. So they went, just my son and my wife, and looked through, and they got two games. Like I'm trying to like get a deal where maybe I could sell some and make some money back off of it. They got Seen It, the trivia game,
Mhm.
and Rangor, which I'm cool with getting Rangor. In fact, whenever we get off the podcast, I'm going to go in there and play it.
Well, what about MLW?
Well,
Yeah.
MLW actually had a pretty good show last Friday. Main event was L.A. Park versus Sammy Callahan in a Falls Count Anywhere match, like basically like a hardcore match. Anything goes. And of course, Selena De La Renta was at ringside. So that was a fun main event.
Who won?
L.A. Park.
Boo.
Come on, Sammy. You got to win something.
I mean, you already lost your hair, Sammy. Can't keep losing.
And then we had Color Brazil versus Van de Ortegon. And after the match, Ricky Martinez attacks him from behind. And then we had a actually a match, Barrington Hughes versus Ace Romero at first. Then Colonel Robert Parker sort of takes over, and the Dirty Blondes, and it becomes a tag team match with Ace Romero and Barrington Hughes squashing the Dirty Blondes. Quite literally.
Squash, 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 squash.
Okay, Daniel Bryan.
So it was a really good show. This Friday, actually this weekend, there's going to be two MOW fusions. There's going to be a normal MOW fusion, and then on Saturday, it's going to be a two-hour super fight special.
Live.
We have live. And this Friday, it's going to be an empty arena match. Brian Pillman Jr. versus Tommy Dreamer.
I'm not really sure how I feel about that for like three different reasons. Tommy Dreamer, I love him, but still wrestling. Like I get it. Brian, Pil- Brian Pillman, love him. I get it. Empty arena match. Oh, it's gonna be very hit or miss on how they do that. We're I know it's been done before, and like the Rock Foley Sunday Night Heat empty arena match was a hit. Eh, it's gonna be good. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah. So Super Fight, the card for that will be Low Key with Selena De La Renta versus Tom Lawler for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship.
oh, you
The
don't call him
Lucha
Filthy
Bros.
anymore?
Oh, he's filthy Tom Lawler.
Yeah,
Then we have the
usually.
Lucha Bros for the
Go ahead.
oh, it was the Lucha Bros versus the Hart Foundation for the World Tag Team Championships. Then Aerostar versus Ray Horus. Then Ace Romero versus Simon Gotch. Tommy Dreamer and a mystery partner versus Brian Pillman Jr. and a mystery partner. Puma King versus Gringo Loco. Rich Swan versus Ace Austin. Ricky Martinez versus Carter Brazil. DJZ versus Myron Reed. And Mance Warner and Jacob Anawa will be making their debut. Or Jacob Fatu, rather.
I want to say a couple of things, but I don't, just in case they ever want to come on the podcast, because apparently AA's been working on the VWP Twitter and stuff, and we have followers that are actual wrestlers, and I don't want to offend anybody, but one of those matches I want to say something about, but I won't because I, I'll I'll say it. Hey, please don't be mad at me, okay?
Okay.
Why is Simon God still a thing?
I don't know.
Matt, do you?
I don't know. And Jacob Fatu is the Usos' cousin, by the way.
Yes. Well, that's
And
why.
Umaga's nephew.
Yeah. It's not the Fatu name. I was. Anywho. Yeah, so it's going to be a fun weekend in wrestling.
Yeah.
And we still have the New Japan America.
They did a New Year's Dash lately.
Well, sir, you are way
I
behind.
know I'm very behind.
But they're doing live events for the Supercard this weekend in the California area. And I miss my. I just couldn't. This is during my. I could have, but no, I couldn't have. If that makes sense to you guys, with my, I had a chance to do a meet and greet with Shibata. Uh, would have loved to meet and greet, get an autograph, take a picture. Eh, Yeah. Ah, I hate I missed that. Um, what else is going on with you guys with overall or wrestling world or anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we just about covered it all. I think.
Oh yeah.
Did you say Derby Allen?
No.
Oh, I thought you said Derby Allen, which would have been perfect. Have we covered everything? Talked about everything? Well, Derby Allen. Like, oh, we're getting violent. Okay, I'm just asking. No,
No, said I've been sick the past week, so
I'm sorry.
it's the crud going around.
At least Match Chair did not fail to make an appearance. Show
I,
stealer.
I kind of missed it.
Yep. Took him long enough to make an appearance, though. Like, shit. He could have been earlier in the show. Anything else anybody want to talk about? Anybody? Bueller? Bueller?
No.
Dang it. The one time I'm up to talking and everybody gets quiet on me. Fine, so be it.
I mean, you always have Shadow to talk to.
You're an ass, sir, and I will be blocking you on Twitter and collapsing your comments on Kate's side, and yeah, we're all right. Well, I guess since my co-hosts aren't very talkative, I guess that's that.
No, we've been going
So
for quite a while.
nah, we can go till it's only 11:26 your time. What did Garth Brooks say? Party all night till the sun comes up.
That's for all you young people. That's for you
Mm.
youngins.
And you are specifically talking to Matt here because I am no longer in that range.
Yeah, you are. You're younger than me, so you're a youngin.
Hey, not fair. Anybody want to just shoot the shit for a little bit live on air? Not wrestling related? No? Okay then.
I mean, I don't really have much to talk about, to be honest.
And I'm getting ready to turn into a pumpkin, which would
Me
be a
and you
trick.
put it all together. Can we drive it home with one headlight? Oh, if you don't get that freaking stupid song reference, I apologize. All right, well, I guess we're out. Matt, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at MailMat15. I also hang out on It's hang out in the daily and the nightly. This week, I am going to try and do a Ruthless Aggression Era podcast because I should have Friday off from work. I don't have a guest at this time. I don't think I'll be able to get a guest at the last minute. So I think for the first time in podcast history, or It was a Progression Era podcast this week. I think it's just going to be a solo podcast this week. Going to be on Ric Flair's book, To Be the Man. So it should be interesting.
I've read that if you need a jump off the cuff guest, I've read that. Just throwing that out there. Hey, where can they find you?
Well, you can find me on Twitter at Lady Roshana. You can find me on KHI Seats at Ambrose Alley, and you can find me on Twitter at Violent Wrestling Podcast, no G.
And please don't find me.
Where can they find you?
Don't know. At Twitter at Fireman6809. KHI Seats. Prince Moxley Lopez. I was gonna make a joke that I just generally lost, so there's that. Like just like I always say, like don't find me. I'm not wanted by the FBI or anything. Just don't find me.
No, he's wanted by the MIBs.
Oh, see, I love you so much. Hopefully, starting soon, and this is my fault. We'll be back on Twitch soon. It's my fault for not getting the key back, and I apologize for that. But the Violent Wrestling Podcast with the G will be back on Twitch shortly, and my apologies that I haven't got the key back sooner. And other than that, any other final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Other than good night, everybody.
Big Lynch won the Rumble. Peace, guys.
See ya.
Wouldn't want to be you.